Ladies and gentlemen, it's now come time for our co-main event of the evening. In the ring, I'm joined by the co-president of the South African Muay Thai organization, who's also going to be serving as a supervisor for this bout, Clinton Walters, showing off the gold that our following two fighters are going to be fighting for. 3 rounds of 3 minutes for the World Muay Thai Organization South African National Pro-Am title in the middleweight division. I'd now like to welcome you, making his ring walk first. Please welcome Luan, the Omen, Fenta. Facing Luan Fenta for the title, please welcome Ebrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, this co-main feature 3 rounds of 3 minutes for the South African National Pro-Am title in the middleweight division. Introducing to you first, he'll be fighting out of the blue corner. At 20 years old, he stands 1.83 meters tall. He weighed in at 70.9 kilograms with a perfect Pro-Am record. 1 win, no losses. That win coming by way of a knockout. He fights out of Brothers Combat Institute and hails from George in the Western Cape. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the challengers, Luan, the Omen Fenta. And his opponent will be fighting out of the red corner. At 32 years of age, he stands 1.79 meters tall, weighing in at 71.9 kilograms. With a Pro-Am record of 3 wins, a single loss, 1 of those wins coming by way of a knockout. His skills are honed at Thaiholics. He fights out of Cape Town. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ebrahim. I'm 38 years old. I've been around the block as a ring announcer. I've been referred to as seasoned. I've been referred to as veteran. Luan Venter, I announced back in the day, when he was an 8-year-old walking into the ring, just like our opening bouts that we saw on this afternoon's card. Here he is, co-main feature, fighting for the strap against Ebrahim, and he's 20 years old, all grown up, and it's been quite a shock for me this weekend, just seeing him again, meeting him again, remembering what he was, now seeing where he's come to. Now he's stepping into the fire. It's Pro-Am, however, the difference being those socks have been pulled off. Now they have to fight with just the elbow pads on. Fantastic co-main event that we have here. 3 rounds of 3 minutes. Ebrahim, he hails from Thaiholics. You know a lot about him compared to me. What have you got to say about his prospects today?
Yeah, firstly, I mean, I was going through the same motions as you were. I think I met Luan when he was maybe around 12 years old, when he was running around on the mats at an event out in George. So it's also great to see him coming up through the ranks, and he's been around, he's had a lot of K1 fights and a lot of low kick. And Izzy, relatively new to the sport, moved to our gym in 2017, but has grown in leaps and bounds. He gets to spar with the pros as well, so he's quite seasoned in that way. Definitely a guy to look out for, and both of these guys, I'm really keen to see how this fight goes.
20 years old versus 32 years old. Venter's starting off very strong. He comes from the Brothers Combat Institute, trained by Guru Soz Grobbelaar, who was one heck of a striker in his day as well. Still is a heck of a striker, if you ask me. He threw something at me this day when I got you. I was lucky to evade it. It was just a hug. He is a wonderful person. He's a wonderful trainer. And, of course, in George, he's got some big things going on. Luan Venter is representing the Brothers Combat Institute. Team Guru High Performance Center, though, is where he is training out of in George.
Yeah, and obviously Source has got to work with these guys since they were kids, got to mold them and really get to take them on tours, going around the world. These guys have fought at WACA World Champs, a lot of experience in that way. So it's good to see the development of the youth coming through, and we're also hoping to see that Izzy can turn it up here, show his opponent that he's not afraid of just the experience. Technically he's the older fighter, he's the more experienced in terms of the nature of the beast. Keeping calm, keeping that composure. So far we've seen a lot of power strikes coming from Luan, and Izzy just sort of absorbing, sitting in the pocket, doing that defensive work.
Quick twitch stuff. It's combo throws by Luan Venter, and a big hello to all of our fight fans out in George. I know you guys are all in the streaming and you're throwing up your comments. Please keep them coming. We love to hear what you think about this fight. Very interesting bout that's ahead of us. Is he looking to keep more composed? Perhaps he knows, you've got to conserve what's in the gas tank. He is the older man.
Yeah, and for both these guys, remember, this is probably the first time that they're fighting without those socks on, sanctioned now by WMO, even though this is a Pro-Am bout, because it's for a belt, they allowed the sanctioning of no socks. So even eating those socks on the arms, that's going to sap your energy, taking those kicks, taking that for the first time shin to shin when you do check them. It's quite a shock to the system, but like all things in fighting, once you're in the ring, you sort of forget about those things and just get the job done.
Luan Venter going down with that calf attack. Seemingly, that's the first point of call for him, is to try and break Ebrahim down right at the basement.
I think what we also seen from Izzy is a bit of a shelled approach, so letting his younger opponent throw all those attacks and just be very calm. You can see where his eyes are. He's just watching. He's watching to see what's happening, but at the same time, he can't sit back too much. It is only a 3-round fight.
Yeah, you can't fall behind on a fight like this for a belt when it's only 3 rounds that you have existing in order to pull off the victory. Ebrahim's starting to pick it up now.
Yeah, I think he's touched on a few good shots there. He's definitely, you can see a few welts opening up on Luan there. But I think the aggressor so far has been Luan, and I think he's probably starting this round just by landing more shots and coming forward.
Yeah, I think it's a fair enough assumption to say that Luan Venter has possibly shaded this round, landing the flashier stuff. But Ebrahim, composed. He's not breathing hard. Whereas, look at the other side. Luan Venter is bent over. He's sitting in the bucket now. Let's have a good look at him.
A lot of energy expenditure as well when he's pushing forward, landing those shots. Even though Izzy was covering up, that still takes a lot of power that he's throwing. So Luan's throwing high power, taking a lot of energy out of him, but also high volume.
And it's the flashier blows, it's the bigger combos. I think Ebrahim really has to sort of go for it now. He has to open up, he has to pick it up. But if he's going to be the one to win this fight, he's got to respond with power.
For sure. And also to start using those Muay Thai techniques. At the moment, I think he's shouldered and he's busy doing a lot of defensive work from the outside. But he can also remember that he can catch those kicks. He can look for sweeps, things like that, the teeps as well.
Looking calm, looking composed. Miyagi, Ebrahim.
Surprisingly, like I usually find him to be quite a what I would call a jittery fighter, so does a lot of in and out movement. But I think maybe because he knows that his opponent's young and also one of those guys who's quite, he's moving a lot, so he's trying to be composed throughout the fight. So maybe we'll see a little bit of a change now, but it is also the Muay Thai style, and maybe he just wants to stay in the pocket.
Venter stepped out of the bucket that they've been sitting in, that big dish that catches all of the ice, and left with wet feet.
Second round.
Housework being done by Jean. And here we go again. Round number 2.
Can really see Izzy starting to put a little bit more pressure just with the hip movement coming forward. Something he wasn't doing in the last round.
I feel like Venter missed a beat there. That should have been putting Izzy on the floor.
Again. Yeah, Izzy's got a good base as well. So like every time you'll see Luan grabbing his foot, he's leaning forward, he's making sure his weight is on that back foot. He's not leaning back and getting thrown off. Also starting to land those strikes now. Maybe a little bit more woken up a bit. But yeah, he's definitely going to have to put in a lot more work. He's going to have to come forward, he's going to have to throw those strikes. A little bit of abandon, like we were speaking of earlier. That's the Muay Thai style that you're going to need to get in.
Slap is the sound that makes when the foot hits the thigh. Luan Venter scoring with those thigh shots.
I also wonder if Izzy's starting to notice every time after Luan throws a strike, his hands are going straight down to his chest height.
Even worse, down to his waist. I just saw that now.
And that's after almost every strike, whether he's throwing or being hit. So he needs to be careful that he doesn't catch something coming up.
Good teep. Tries to bury the shin into the stomach. Venter looking far more artistic in this kind of fight. He's trying to create something out of nothing, and he's scoring well enough for it.
He's scoring, but his work rate's definitely gone down, and that's probably also why we're seeing the hands go down. Maybe a little bit of fatigue from that first round. This is a big title fight for him, so it's with all the experience he has, he is still a junior. There's still a lot going on.
He's still only 20.
Exactly. Is he the much more composed fighter? I think this round is a lot more even. Difficult to score, actually.
Good grip, good clench, knee work.
I think a big sweep here might, turn the judges to favor one or the other, because at the moment it's pretty much tit for tat.
It is tit for tat. It's very even. Someone has to do something and show the big gesture.
Ooh, coming down the top of the head.
Ebrahim's doing very well working from that top position.
Yeah, Luan also needs to remember that in the clinch he needs to be active. That's opportunity to land points. You need to work as much as you can. In this sport, the clinch isn't just a time to rest and to catch a breath. It's really time to work. So you've got to be throwing those knees and those elbows.
I have a feeling the more confident fighter right now might well be Ebrahim.
Yeah, I definitely think in the second half of the round, he's landed a few good clean strikes. Not that, Luan's still there. He's still got it. He's looking a bit fatigued, but he's there, isn't it?
Sword Robillard urging his fighter to get back on him. Less than 10 seconds left to the end of the round. Close round to score. I kind of shaded to Ebrahim, though.
I was thinking the same just towards the end there, just because he was able to switch it up and keep those strikes going. The judges are people too. They see the same things that we do. They're not necessarily having a clicker in their hand. This is a subjective scoring that they're going through. So if they see a guy, picking it up at the end of the round, still showing that he's strong, and he hasn't, if it's a close round, that's how you steal those ones. You work right at the death.
So let's say it could well be 1-1.
I'd say it could be.
Going into the third, pulsating chess match. Neither fighter willing to take the big risk, though, because obviously it's dire consequences if you are to miss. You're going to get made to pay. And this is for all the marbles. Pro-Am rules, the South African national title, sanctioned by the World Muay Thai Organization. One remaining round, Ebrahim versus Venter.
You see Luan coming in with his hands down when he's throwing those strikes. You know, he needs to keep them up. He's walking into some punches, so he just needs to be aware that, you know, even though he is a forward pressure fighter, he needs to move his head out the way if he's going to do that.
Yeah, right at the end there on that highlights package, you saw Ebrahim catching that high kick from Fenter. Very effectively, spray of sweat, and that was it. No damage taken.
Izzy's corner, I'm assuming, just by the way that he came out, told him to switch it up, keep him away, keep the teeps. So now it's time for Luan to look to try and counter that. So sweep the teep, you know, out the way, get your big strikes in like you had in the first round, because those teeps are counting those points as well.
Fenter loves to charge forward with that elbow coming down onto the forehead of Ebrahim.
Very much reminiscent of, say, like a Jonathan Haggerty with like a spear elbow as he comes in. Could be moves like modeling after maybe watching a lot of the fights like ONE FC. Yeah, the guys get a lot of good inspiration from watching Muay Thai fights.
Free on YouTube, just like Thaiholics Fight Promotions. We're free on YouTube as well. And you're seeing the best in South African action right here in Cape Town at the Grand West Casino and Entertainment World.
Both stepping in with elbows there. I'm not sure if any of them actually landed clean. What I'd like to see now is, again, you know, catching the kicks, catching the teeps. There's a lot being thrown, especially, you know, he's absorbing all those strikes, the teeps to the stomach. You can see how ready solar plexus is. If he catches one and throws a big sweep, that shows the judges he's aware, he knows the strike is coming, but he's got something, he's got an answer. Is he seemingly with the higher work rate at the moment?
A minute 30 to go in this round. I know you can't see it on your screen. Don't worry, I can, and I'll keep updating you. Ebrahim really has to open up the taps now. I get the impression that he might be down in this round, especially with that inside leg kick landing cleanly from Luan Fenter.
I'm not sure. I also get the impression that, like, if you look at the solar plexus of Luan, he's taking a lot of those strikes to the midsection, those teeps, just like that. That's a point, you know, as much as a kick is, as much as a punch is.
Just being pointed out and laughed at. They moved the clock. Well, I wasn't looking. It's now on the top right-hand side of the corner. It used to be in the middle. Thanks, guys, in the van.
If I was Luan's corner, I'd be telling him to look out for that teep, to grab it, to get out the way, to do something, because at the moment, all he's doing is walking into it. Or, yes, he come in with reckless abandon like that and just throw those big strikes.
40 seconds to go in this third and final round for the belt.
At least I must say, it's super absorbing. There's times where I'm dropping the mic and all I want to do is watch the fight. Luan now turning it up, putting a bit of pressure on. Izzy took a few big punches there, but he's answering in kind.
Izzy was having to absorb the elbow from Luan Fenter, now absorbing the hook as Fenter initiates the clinch. This is how we could be ending the fight, the last 10 seconds.
Super close here now. It'll be interesting to be in the mind of a judge, just wondering what are they counting. Big elbow from Izzy there. Clinching up, last 5 seconds, a big sweep could seal it.
And the body language that you talk about right there, how is that supposed to be positive? One job I'd hate to have right now is that of being a judge. One job I love having right now is that being the ring announcer.
Again, just seeing that positive body language. I think we're going to see something here. I wouldn't be surprised actually if there was an extra round, but yeah, let's see what the judges have to say about that.
Okay, fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, a fantastic title bout was played out before you. 3 rounds of action, bell to bell, and we go to the judges' scorecards. Your winner coming by way of unanimous decision victory, and the new WBMO South African National Pro-Am Middleweight Champion, fighting out of Cape Town, Isghaack Ebrahim. the co-president of the South African Muay Thai organization, Clint Walters.